everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the Ratcliffe CF journey, a parent's perspective, and I try and do things as truthfully as possible from my own experiences really. And it really helps me mental wise as well. Oh, what is that? I can't even see that in real life. Yeah, it really helps me with my mental, trying to help others, because surely if I'm feeling like this, you're feeling like this as well, or you have done. Last couple of weeks been so rough. It's Mental Health Awareness Week as well, which is why I wanted to talk about this. Something that I come across quite often is the fact that I feel really lonely. I have a huge family who try and be so supportive, and I truly am so grateful for them. I really, really am. But because they aren't directly in the household, it's really difficult to try and get them to relate and understand, really. Because I truly believe, unless you are going through this, unless you are another CF family, you don't understand. And it's fine that you don't understand. But, it's something that needs addressing and needs to be spoken about, because I do feel so alone sometimes. And, when you try and reach out and you're having a bad day, it's really difficult because people don't know what to say. And it's fine. You don't really need to say anything. It's more of the case of just listen. Just listen. Don't try and advise or, come back with, oh yeah, I felt like that, and try and relate, because it's really, really frustrating. It's so frustrating. And it's something that I've actually really picked up on the last couple of weeks. I've had really bad down days the last few weeks. Amelia's 19 months old now. And this is sort of something, excuse me, it's sort of something that comes and goes. Like, I have these big dips for a couple of weeks or a few days or a day. Like, I don't really know, there's no real pattern. But some things, it just gets too much. And even taking breaks off social media, take breaks off of Instagram, because sometimes if everybody's feeling the same, I'm quite a sponge when it comes to emotional things, and I'm always wanting to try and help. But sometimes I'm not in the position myself to help or be a support as best as possible. So it's really difficult to find that balance, and I've really, really found the last few weeks that I have felt so alone. And even within the community, when someone's having a good time, and they're like, oh, come on, like, look to the positives, and sometimes you just can't do it. And that's why I always say, riding the waves of emotions with CF, and because it really is like, ride the waves, because I know sometimes, someday, I'm not going to feel like this, and I'm going to have a big gap of good, positiveness. But when you're going through the bad and the negatives, and, blaming yourself, feeling guilty, and all little life things pile on top of that, and you just blow. And I really had a blow yesterday. I was really upset. I was just crying. I was just very self-critical. I was just feeling so bad and guilty for so many things. And then other things happened that I won't go into. But it was like little things that happened yesterday, and I was like really reading way too much into them. And it just made things 10 times worse, and I didn't explode. I just exploded with emotion, and I was very, like I say, I was just getting upset, and, looking at these smaller things, and there was massive things, but actually there were small things. But it's obviously the underlying issue that I was already feeling was piled on top. So I feel so much better today. I'm quite a spiritual person, and I've been having some dreams just lately, quite that's been telling me a lot. Like, and if you don't agree, it's fine. But they've just been telling me a lot, and I do find that sort of if it helps, then go for it. That going towards spiritualness helps. So yeah, obviously talking helps as well. A few dreams that have kind of really impacted me was night before last night, and I feel like that's why I just erupted yesterday. I had a tsunami dream, and then I started Googling and having a look into it, and I've had tsunami dreams before, and I know it's to do with emotion, all to do with water and emotion, and it was so scary. And all day yesterday, I feel like once I woke up, I was still in that dream, like the emotion of the dream. I actually woke myself up because it felt like I couldn't breathe. I was like really in my dream, like it's crazy. I sound like an absolute nut job, but I believe that is like my underlying consciousness, like telling me things, and obviously it explains it with the way that I've been feeling. I've kind of created that dream for me to then live that dream. Do you know what I mean? So that kind of put me already at an edge yesterday. But anyway, I'm getting off track. Loneliness. CF is such a complex thing, and I think what sort of triggered me to begin with feeling really lonely was, my partner works. He's been doing a lot of work in sort of 6 days, and he's been helping people with their houses, and he worked away, and so it all felt like it just fell on me, all of it. No fault of his own, it's absolutely fine. He's doing the best that he can for us, as I'm doing at home for the children and for myself. Sort of keeping the house running and all of those other things. And I was like, I need to get out of this house. It is driving me crazy. So I was like, right, what are we going to do? Like, we got Saturday. My partner was working all day until late night. What are we going to do? We need to do something. I need to get out this house. And I started looking into sort of where there's nice walks and stuff around here, something that's not going to cost too much, because that's another factor. Living with CF, it costs more. More nappies, more wipes, more cleaning products, running things, obviously with the prices of electricity and gas absolutely shooting through the roof. We've got to be careful. So anything that is even petrol, so somewhere nearby, preferably, places nearby me, they are beautiful. And obviously I've been there before. I've taken Alfie, my 4-year-old, who's a non-CF, and they are beautiful. And then, so I'm looking at their websites and thinking, right, what flooring does the park have? Because some parks, as I noticed, have sand flooring, which is a no-go. Even sort of the bark and that kind of thing is a bit risky as well. But sand, I was like, no. Go to the next place. Oh, there's it's called Woollerton Hall, and it's a huge hall, and they've got all these stuffed animals in there. There's like, it's a free thing that you can just go and walk around, and see all the unique animals. But outside on the grounds is absolutely stunning. There's a big lake. There's a big big park. Again, it's got bark flooring. I can kind of deal with the bark flooring, but it's still obviously not too safe. And then they have the deers walking around freely. And when I've been before, you are literally avoiding deer poo everywhere. So I was like, right, well, that's a write-off. And then other places and other places. And I was just like, where are we going to go? Like, I'm like, it needs to be outdoors because it's so much better. Actually, is it? And then when you go indoors, you're risking the infection of catching bugs, germs as well. So it's like outside is bacterial, environmental factors. Inside is, germs of other people, maybe potentially not realising that there's another CF person there, because they don't have a bloody sign on their head. It's really risky. Like, and I don't think some people realise that even just going out for a meal is completely risky. So I mean, I'm sure as she gets older, it might get a bit easier once she starts to understand her CF. Obviously, she's at that age where she just wants to go. Do excuse me if I look out the window. I've got my new dryer coming. But yeah, so there was that, and I just thought I've just felt so alone because everybody was coming at me because I put up on my Facebook any ideas of what we can do, and I'm looking at everything and I'm like, right, we can't go there because of that, we can't go there because of them, we can't go there because of that floor, they can't go there. And it was just like, and then people are like, oh, what did you end up doing? I'm like, nothing. Because it was just, it's so hard, and I think some people don't understand, and they're like, oh, just go and get on with it. Even some fellow CF families, I do feel like when I joined the community, there was so much of a spectrum of where the families were comfortable. What you're comfortable with doing with your CFer, somebody else might not be, but there's no need to judge on that because, we all have our own scale. Does that make sense? And I really did find that. So as much as they are an absolute amazing and great advice and things like that, I think it's so, if you're not as strong-minded as I am, sometimes you can probably get really closed up and wrapped up in, oh my God, like, oh, I should be doing this with them, I should be doing that with them. But if you don't feel comfortable with it, it's fine. Like, it's fine. You go at your own pace with your CF child. So this weekend we are taking the plunge and we are going swimming for the first time. I've asked about all of the do's and don'ts and things, and I'm just really looking forward to it. The more I kind of look at it, lovely lady said, chlorine, it kills bacteria. And in this country, in the UK, they have to be a certain level chlorine. Whereas if you go abroad, the restrictions aren't as strict as they are here. So that makes me feel a little bit better. And then I've already phoned the swimming complex up, and I said, are we able to use the disabled toilet? And she said, actually, there is changing rooms literally on poolside, and they're for family, like big families and massive cubicles. And I was like, great, like hopefully we can get into one of them and use that. If not, I'm sure there's a disabled toilet or disabled changing room that we can use. So that made me feel a lot better. So I am seriously so looking forward to it, and I feel like probably it's one of the lowest risks I've felt. So yeah, so that's kind of what I kind of wanted to talk about CF and feeling lonely and things, is just feeling trapped in your own house, because this is your safe place. You clean this house. You know how clean this house is. Even visiting other people's houses, they can say, oh yeah, I've tidied up, I've done this and I've done that. They know they've cleaned up, but I don't know. So that it's kind of the mental torture that you kind of put yourself under about assessing every situation and every risk. And, when I'm there, I'm like, oh yeah, it does look clean. But I take my own Dettol wipes and things anyway, and I'm pretty sure if it was a family member, they'd be like, yeah, carry on. So, it's one of them. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about that, and to say that I have really, really been feeling so lonely just lately, and it's normal. it's really normal. And then as soon as I opened up about feeling lonely, I had like 70, 80 people share my post that I put up and said like, oh my God, this is so relatable. I felt like this. And I just thought, oh, wow. So why did I feel like I was the only one, you know? So, yeah. So I'm going to go now. But yeah, I hope you all have an amazing week and be kind to yourself. Make others be kind to you. And I'll speak to you all very soon.